Alright everybody, this video is going to be about the two best builds in the game. One is going to be Glass Cannon, and two would be your attack based on HP. Now I will tell you, most people are going to be using Glass Cannon until they can get their attack based on HP relatively high, around 120% is when I would go all out on it. So for everything, I'm just going to use Stage Boss as an example. So firstly, we'll start off with skills. Momentum, Blizzard, Orb, Contempt, Survival, Spear, Dance, Contract. Now you'll see there's no immortality. That's because usually I will go with the 4-set Evil Spirit, which will give you immortality on its own. Now for Glass Cannon Mastery for Stage Boss, it's just going to look something like this. Attack, crit chance, crit damage, attack speed, skill damage, boss damage. Now since Pioneer doesn't work on Glass Cannon for Stage Boss, you're just going to have to use all of Slayer. So what you want to do with your extra points, ideally, if you have any points left over, then put them into level up Mastery Attack and then default attack. I would level these two evenly with any extra points you have. A little small tip, if you put 1 point into this Pioneer right here, it gives you straight up 5% skill cooldown. Let's move on to Awakening abilities. Obviously, just all attack. Just a whole row of SSR attacks, if possible. Now for World Stones, it's going to be, once again, all attack, pretty straightforward. Mine aren't that great for my attacks. I have an 80 and a 60. 240, 25, that one's pretty good. 240, 32 on the amp, also pretty good. And then this is by far my best stone, just 80% that got +3, so it's 320%. Ideally, you would have all them the same color. Like I have this, which is 200%, but this is 240. So it's actually better for me to run a Celestial Stone with higher stats here. Now for pets, of course, it's best to have majority of your main element, but if that's not possible because they're like lower tier than something else, then just go ahead and put on whatever is your highest stat and higher evolution pet. And then get as much attack out of these as possible. So make sure you optimize your food. Don't just dump it all into one legendary, because the prices of their levels skyrocket. You would get more benefit from leveling up something that's level 1 to level 30 compared to like a legendary from level 70 to level 75. You gotta think about how you can like cost effectively split up your food and get the most out of it if you care to really min-max it. Next up is costumes. I mean, this is super RNG. I don't have any attack costumes anymore. They're all health. They're pretty much, if you're doing stage boss, these would all be stage boss attacks. If you have 5 slots like I do right here, I would just make 3 of them SSR and 2 of them SR. That's plenty. These diminish pretty fast, so having them like perfect doesn't really add anything at all. Like if I re-rolled all my SRs to an SSR right now, I wouldn't even be able to push one more stage. So don't really stress on making them perfect. But yeah, if you're running Glass Cannon, make sure all of these are attack. No amp, no anything, just straight up stage boss monster attack. Now next, for companions, this would be the ideal setup for Glass Cannon with stage bosses. Now I know a lot of people aren't going to have these guys, so I'm going to show you what their substitutes would be. If you don't have Hanayama, Folder. If you don't have Wook, Retsu. If you don't have Retsu, Attack Tag, the Victoria would work, or Kalia would work. If you don't have Oliver, then Asya. And that would be it. Those are your only ways you can mix and match. These orders that I put them in should stay this way. Astia or Oliver in 4 slot gives you as much time as possible to survive for a stage boss. You want their immortalities popping as late as possible. Some monsters attack faster than others, so if you're fighting a fast monster like the succubus or the spider lady, then you're gonna have to get a lucky dodge in order for them to go off in fourth slot. But that is where they're best suited. Now Hakon should always be second slot. So how the damage really stacks up for Glass Cannon, I'm gonna just break it down real quick. So when you enter a boss fight, Hanayama is going to activate. He's going to activate Berserk, give you more Berserk attack and boss damage. And then the real major amount of damage comes from Hakan. Now, you look at his skill, increases attack and critical damage by 448%. A lot of people will go, that isn't shit. Why would I use that? Because you have millions of percent of attack. But this is a multiplicative modifier. So if you have 2 million, then this will give you around like 8.5 million. Now my percent is really high because my guy's level 200. More realistically, you want him, he's going to be at like level 100 and he'll be around 200 to 300%, so that's 2 or 3x your attack still. He is very, very, very important for a Glass Cannon. So what you're going to do is Hanayama's going to activate, you're going to go into Berserk, Hakon's going to activate, you're going to get this massive damage increase, and then you're going to dump all of your skills as soon as he activates. Don't use anything at all until he goes off. And then use all 4 of your skills, and then your damage will really skyrocket. Now your third slot is always going to be like a backup buffer. So this guy, he increases the enemy's damage taken by 25% for 4 seconds. And his weapon also gives me another 30% damage of Infernal. So overall, he's going to be really increasing your damage a little more after Hakon is like about to deactivate, because his is only 3 seconds long. 4th slot, already went over it. He's pretty much just only there to keep you in the fight for another 3 seconds. That's his main use. Same with Ostia. Alright, now lastly for monster cards, I already went over this in a previous video. But pretty much if you need to check where your highest stage is. So you see Cave of Evil Spirits, you need to match your monster cards to that area to get, like, this is very important. You'll go from doing no damage to a lot of damage. So make sure all of them are Cave of Evil Spirits. So you can sort them right here. Cave of Evil Spirits, and then just put on whatever you can. The more, the better. So I'm going to show you how I would fight a stage boss with this full setup, but I'm not going to be able to even come close to killing this guy because attack based on HP, the next build I'm going to talk about, is so much better in game. So we're going to go into a boss. You're going to turn off Berserk and skill. We're going to restart it, and then just wait. You just wait until Hakon goes off in second slot. So Hanayama's going to pop, and then Hakon goes off, and then that's all you do. Then you just do all of your damage. But as you can see, I am doing nothing. 1% at best. So let's get into what attack based on HP really is. So let's pretend I have 100% attack based on HP, and I have 1,000,000 health. So even if I had 0 attack right now from absolutely nothing, if I had 100% attack based on HP and I had 1,000,000 health, that would just straight up give me 1,000,000 attack. So that alone should tell you why it's so overpowered, because you get the best of both worlds. You get to get your health and your attack from any sources in the game, and then if you focus all HP, it'll convert it into attack on top of all of the extra attack that is available. That is not possible with Glass Cannon. There's no way to just create power out of thin air based on another stat, besides Hakan, I guess. So that's pretty much what it's going to do. It might be a bit confusing to you, but just trust and believe. It is far better. So let's get into what you need to focus on, really. This is a very in-game build. I'm going to bring up a chart in my Discord that tells you all of the sources of them. First off, your 2-set bonus from Evil Spirits. That is an SSR piece of equipment right here. 2-set bonus, amp health, 3% attack based on HP. Next up, companions. It's Newt. and equipment rolls. So if we go over here to Newt, you can see in his tag effects right here, if it's at 4, you get almost 5% attack based on HP. And his weapon, once he activates, increases attack based on HP by 8% for 5 seconds. Now next up is equipment. You can get, theoretically you can get 6% per piece of armor, but that is like the gods have to descend from heaven in order to make that happen. So let's be realistic and say you get 3% attack based on HP on each normal piece of gear excluding weapons. So you would get 3, 6, 9% from Hanayama, 18% from Huckley, 27, 36%. So you get 36%. Next up, and the most important, and what's going to determine if you can even swap to this build or not, is your costumes. So as you can see here, Ophelia is really the thing that makes ABOH either amazing or godly. As far as I know, there's like 2 people that maxed her out. She has to be fully maxed out, like 5 stars on her skin. And she's an event skin, so that's not really possible anymore. So let's just pretend she doesn't exist. But you can still do the heavy metal, you can still do the Rudolph, and currently you can get the new Black Knight Hyungcha. But you can't get the Prisoner Baki because that's a fucking collaboration event and it's not coming back probably anytime soon. Same with Ophelia. So with the ones currently available, you can get 32%, 12%, and then 3%. So 44 plus 3, 47%. Now your costume total ascension level also gives you a little bit, just 4%. Once again, that's like a pay to win kind of thing. You can see you get 2% here and 2% here. Now, where your other main source of ABOH is going to come from is Immortality Paragon or Immortal Paragon. So let's take a look at that real quick. Immortal Paragon, the main skill gives you ABOH when in Berserk mode, and the sub node here, attack based on HP. So let's go look through the levels real quick. At level 10, 8%, level 20, 24%, level 30, 48%, level 40, 80%. In total, you get around 20% from your weapon total enhancement steps. So once you add all that up, you can pretty easily get around 170 to 180% attack based on HP. And that is plenty. That's pretty much what I have. I have around 190% at most. So once you do all that, you are golden for attack based on HP. Now let's actually get into what you would run for skills and setups. Sword of Destruction, Contempt, Orb, Blizzard. This is just simply for survival, because survival increases damage dealt. It doesn't specifically say attack. If it specifically says attack right here, like Contract for example, it's not really going to help you for attack based on HP. We use Contract for attack speed though. Now I forgot to mention, when you are full attack based on HP, all of your damage is actually coming from World Stones. So you're going to want to ideally match all of them to your main element. Now if you have an insane roll like this, I guess a 240, and your other is only like attack or it's terrible, then go ahead and just use a different color, but try to get them all the same color to match your main elemental damage. Now tying into your elemental damage being your main source, your earrings, when you're pushing boss with attack based on HP, you want them to actually be all element damage amplify. So the best possible earring you can have for attack based on HP when pushing a boss would be all element amplify with attack based on HP rolls, and obviously some health if possible. And another thing, there are certain companions that have all element damage as well. So look for this symbol right here and try to roll that as high as it can go. If you're strictly worried about pushing bosses, get this as high as it can go. Now when you're farming, you can go ahead and change these back to the amp health. That would be better for farming, of course. But strictly for pushing bosses, all element damage amplify. Let's get into equipment and equipment rolls. So for attack based on HP, you literally just want to use whatever is your highest, and then 2 set evil spirits. So put on your 2 highest things, and then put on 2 evil spirits, and then you're good to go. Because you need the attack based on HP from the evil spirits set. Now on all of this gear, you're going to want to roll it for attack speed. Like as you can see, my rolls are pretty average. They aren't good, they aren't perfect, but it's really not worth min-maxing. You can maybe squeeze out another 5% if you min-max it, but I wouldn't worry about that. Just make sure they're all attack speed. Your mastery is literally just going to be health, crit chance, attack speed, boss damage. Nothing else. This is as good as it gets. Paragon, it's going to be pretty straightforward. You're just using all immortality, as much as you can put into it, and then obviously max out this first, and then your base health stat. For awakening ability, obviously just going to be all health. Like anything else in this game. World stones, all health. Pets, just your highest stats, it doesn't matter. Whatever has the highest available to you. And for costumes, like you saw earlier, all of mine are health. So for attack based on HP builds, that's what you're going to want to do. Put it all health. Now for companions, your options are pretty limited for attack based on HP. Regardless of if Hanayama has an attack tag or not, he's going to have to be in first slot since you get so much more damage in Berserk because of your Immortal Paragon. So you want to get into Berserk ASAP. So you'd be using Hanayama or Valder in first slot. Second slot, it's just going to be an attack tag. This guy that just came out is perfect. He has double base attack tags, which is insane. His ability won't really activate in a stage boss fight, but that's not why we're using him. We're just using him for the attack tags. Now for Newt, he can either be in the second or third slot. It won't really matter. But just make sure you have his 4 tags fully loaded to go with the mace and the infernal element. And the same for Ostia. She's always going to be in 4th slot. Just make sure all of her tag effects are set properly. And then that would be your companions. And then monster cards is going to be the same as Glass Cannon, but you're going to look for Amplify HP on the cards. So another thing you're going to want to be looking for is the Toxic 6 set. This just completely boosts your HP by another 50% flat. So if you have like 1,000,000 HP, this will give you 1.4 million HP. Now let's go through it all again real quick. After everything we just put on, feel free to pause if you need to just double check everything. Now, so if we go over here to my stat page and we look at my stats, it is significantly higher than my full Glass Cannon setup. Let me show you a comparison real quick. Alright, so I put on all of my Glass Cannon stuff just to show you what my stats look like with all that going, and it's 40-0 pretty much, and basically no health at all. I'm gonna get one shot by anything and everything. If we compare that to my attack based on HP, I had around 20p attack and like 2p health. So that alone should just show you how overpowered attack based on HP is. So when you're pushing with attack based on HP, it's pretty much the same concept as Glass Cannon. You're going to want to pack all of your skills together at once. But we're going to load in, we're going to hit them with an orb, and then when Blizzard goes off from auto, we're going to spam the other 2. As you can see, I'm actually doing damage to this guy, unlike when I was full Glass Cannon and I did 3% of his health. Hard stuck at a wall right now, but you know, that's just how the game goes. I've had this set up for a while and I've been building as best as I can for it. But you can just see how much better it is. Like, I have an entire letter of damage more. I was only doing 3% to this guy with full Glass Cannon. With everything, my Hakon was level 200. And it's just, it does nothing compared to this. So this is truly like the in-game build, what you want to be striving for the entire time you're playing. And if you have any questions, you can leave a comment or join my Discord, which will be in the description, and just feel free to ask whatever you need to know. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching.